Hey guys, Indie Prepper here, talking about another new pickup from the Marbles line. This is the Marbles Camp Axe. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, you know how much a fan I am of the low-cost Marbles line. I just never knew they made hatchets and axes and bigger things like that. And this is the Camp Axe that they offer for $20. Made in El Salvador, very similar to the Condor tool and knife line. Overall, I'll be comparing this to the Condor Greenland pattern axe. Very, very similar overall, but we'll get to that. This seems to be a very low cost, decent camp axe for the price. Decent quality as well for $20. So, basic stats on this: 1045 carbon steel axe head on this thing right here. If you can see that right there. Looks very similar to the Greenland pattern overall. Has the Made in El Salvador, well, let's flip it around, Made in El Salvador sticker on it, as opposed to being on the head of this axe like the Condor Greenland was. But overall, the head of this is very similar, but comes a lot sharper. I've used this just a little bit in the backyard, in the woods, my deadfalls and all that, to chop a few limbs off and branches and such. It's done very well. It's notably sharper than the Condor Greenland, which I greatly appreciate if you see my previous videos. So, anyway, like I said, carbon steel head on this thing. It is 6 1/4 inch overall length and 4 inches wide right here. So it's a little bit wider than the Condor version, but does just fine overall. And it's 15 7/8 inch overall. So nothing wrong there. Now this thing, let me show you the end of it, has that round steel attachment securing point there at the upper point there, which I did not have a whole lot of experience with until I got the Condor Greenland, but apparently that's fairly common overall from what I've seen and from what other folks have reported. I'm not an axe or hatchet expert by any means of the word, but overall this seems to be an excellent blade for the cost. A very excellent blade for $20. Does not come with a sheath or holster or anything like that, so all you get is this axe for 20 bucks. But that's still a fairly decent price, especially compared to the Greenland, which runs you 35 to 40 or so. Now, the handle on this is American hickory. You can see that right there. Got the lanyard hole here on the bottom side, and as I said previously, this is very similar overall to the Condor line of the Greenland pattern hatchet and axe, which I use a lot and enjoy greatly. Now, this one does have marbles in the blade there of the axe, the head of the axe. Holds very well, swings very well. Like I said, I use this just a little bit in the backyard. Seems to hold up fairly well, notably sharp compared to a lot of other camp axes and hatchets I've ever handled out there. So no problems there. The only complaint I have with this, or concern, really not a complaint, is the thinness of the handle. The grip on this is notably thinner than just about every other hatchet or axe I've ever got my hand on. I have a standard size hand, I'd say, average, and it's a little bit small, frankly, for me anyway. Not bad, especially if I was wearing gloves, it would probably be just fine, but just feels a little thin overall, especially down in this part right here. It's just a little thin. That may be just fine with American hickory. It's going to be sturdy anyway. But I would say this would be an excellent axe overall, or camp hatchet, or whatever you want to call it, for a woman with smaller size hands, or maybe a teenager, younger teenager, or younger sized child that you're trying to teach how to use a hatchet or an axe. This is going to do quite well. Again, if you're a guy with smaller hands, this is probably going to be an excellent choice for you. Let me go ahead and show you the Condor version here for comparison. Here's the Condor. I've done a review on this back in the day and love this a lot. Great hatchet and axe for about $40 or so. Does come with the excellent leather sheath here that all the Condor line does seem to come with. This does not fit on this larger blade. I already tried that. So let me go ahead and put that away. So let's compare these things. Put one on top of another. If you can see that right there, hopefully. The Condor line is notably thicker overall across the board. Blade heads, a Larger here on the marbles slightly, if you can see that. But overall they're basically the same. Basic, same configuration, etc. on the top. A little bit thicker on the marbles here, right there. This is the Condor. And a little bit thicker overall on the blade, etc. Well shined here on the back for splitting wood and whatnot. But the the Condor version here has got a better handle on it for my hand. For my average size hand of a male, this fits better, I think. This chops a little bit better, but sharpening this up a little bit, this just fits my hand a little bit better across the board. Nothing wrong with this one overall though. No problems to report, other than just being a little thin for my general use. No sheath with it. I wish it did have a sheath with it, something to cover this up, whether it be Kydex or Cordura or leather or whatever. Wish it had that. I did not see that available. I'm not sure if that's available at all. I will probably finish this up with some linseed or something like that, linseed oil, to bring out the grain a little bit and add a little bit of protective quality to it. Excellent lanyard hole here. If you can see that right there, that's well made. Overall, I like this axe a lot. So far, have not used it a whole lot, and will obviously almost certainly do a makeup secondary video for this once I've used it a lot more. But just thought I'd talk about it. For $20 for a quality steel head axe, you know, carbon steel 1045 head axe for 20 bucks, I just couldn't pass it up. Figured I'd try it out, and so far I'm quite impressed. So, like I said, for women and children, anybody else who's learning bushcraft at a younger age or smaller size, this is an excellent choice overall. Would highly recommend it overall, but I tend to recommend all of the marbles line that I picked up. So those are my thoughts. MD Prepper, out.